Hello, Mr. So-and-so here, and now with a video on the hunting horn. And I want to say I am by far no pro with a hunting horn. I haven't really played it, and when I did, that has been ages ago. I think it was in 4U. So, people refer to the hunting horn very often as a support weapon, and while this is partly true, don't expect a weapon where you can simply stand at the side of the battlefield and buff your team members. While you can also do that, what you will mostly do is attacking. So how does this weapon work? It's basically a blunt weapon, also causing KO damage. So if you attack the head of a monster, you can stun them. Otherwise, it's a musical instrument, basically. So a horn, as the name suggests. I think to understand that a little bit better, we should have a look at the equipment first. Now, we only have one hunting horn, the spiked horn, and you can see there are notes. So every hunting horn has 3 notes, and the notes define which songs you will be able to play. Now, in order to check out the songs, you should press R2 2 times, and then you get to the melodies. Now, every horn has a self-improvement, and that is, in this case, enhanced movement speed and attack deflection, and then you have a number of other songs. Now, in case of this horn, we have attack up S, so small. We have a health boost, also small. Wind pressure negated. Wind pressure is mostly caused by flying monsters. In the beta, it's caused by Rathalos. So when they fly past you with certain moves, they will cause a gust, and you will be staggered for a moment. So you can negate that either with armor skills, of course not in the beta, or with the hunting horn effects here. Otherwise, you can also boost your defense with this horn. Now, we should also have a look at the hunter's notes to understand a little bit better. As I said, the weapon is pretty straightforward, so you can see not many buttons to push. You have triangle for node number 1, you have circle for node number 2, and you have triangle and circle combined for node number 3, and you perform the song with R2. Now, what they tell us here under perform, it's that you can apply the melody's effect to yourself and nearby allies, so that depends of course on the song. The self-improvement will of course only work for yourself. Now you press these buttons while holding R2, and then you can select a stock melody, so we will get to that later. Otherwise, if you play the same melody again, you can play an encore and therefore strengthen the effect. They also mention a flourish here, so basically what they tell us is if you use node number 2 either out of movement or right after you already used node number 2, you can get 2 swings out of it, and in between the gap of these 2 swings you can put another note that you can use in a song. So this will be easier of course to use when we actually see that in action, so let's get back to that later. As I said, pretty straightforward, so let's have a look at the basics first. Pressing triangle doesn't do anything as usual, simply draws the weapon, so we can do that out of movement, and we hit it down, and we already started with node number 1. Otherwise, we could also start with R2. That would perform the song, but considering that we don't have any full notes ready for a song, it didn't do anything at all. Now let's have a look at the basic moves. We can use triangle combos. Of course, you can dodge normally, as you would with a hammer. We can use circle attacks. And you see, if you use it 2 times in a row, the attack actually becomes a dual attack. Now, we can also combine that triangle and circle. There you go. So, those are our attacks. Now, let's start with the songs. Let's start with the self-improvement, which is node number 1 2 times. As you can see, movement speed up. Let's do that again. There we go. Now we have our self-improvement, and you can see above the HP bar we have the songs already active. Now let's go with the attack boost. We already have the small one active, so we have white and red. So let's go with that. White, red, and then R2. And we have an core here, so we received attack up L already. We have the health boost, so that will be red, blue, and white. And there we go. Health boost. Now let's negate the wind pressure. Blue, blue, and red. And defense up. That would be white, blue, and blue. There you go. And of course you want to perform these attacks while attacking the monster, preferably the head, to also cause KO damage to the head. Now, what they mentioned before in the Hunter notes is that you have a flourish, so if you use note number 2, you can get a note in between, and then you can execute that flourish. So let's try that. Let's check our songs. We do have health boost S, so we need our note number 2 anyway, so we can play that 2 times or use that 2 times. And the second attack will actually be a dual attack, as you can see. Now between these 2 hits we can play the blue note, and then afterwards we can play the white note and we would receive the health boost low. Now let's see if that works out. As I said, I'm definitely no pro. Now let's go with circle. Okay, of course that didn't work, so let's give it one more try. We play the red note, we play it again. There we go. So I would highly suggest that you experiment with this weapon yourself. This is simply to give you a basic idea about how it works. I'm really not a big fan. That's definitely not my cup of tea to focus on the songs while attacking, but a lot of people like it, so I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, I hope I can answer them, and just post them in the comments. Though I hope there aren't any, because as I said, no pro with a horn. So thanks for watching.